Skip Bayless. Shannon Sharp.
Imitation is the sincerest form
What?
of flattery.
What you mean?
Imitation is the
What?
sincerest form of
What I
flattery.
do?
Are you flattering me?
What? What happened?
You got no tie.
I mean,
You
what?
got no tie. You trying to be me?
Did you copyright
You
this?
can't beat me, so you got to be me.
Right? This is Happy Hour Friday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, old Snoop
Oh,
got that
really?
package on.
No,
Yeah.
oh, so that's what
Yeah,
happened
Happy
down in
Hour
your
Friday.
dressing room before the game. You took the jet plane, right? Ooh, yeah, okay.
Happy Hour Friday.
He's got his own
I'm fine with
private
that.
We
jet.
love to fly, and it shows.
I'm definitely not. Now I'm worried about you, actually. We have a lot to get to on today's show. What happened to the Greek freak? Should Drake be scared of Charles Barkley? But we are going to start with last night's huge Game 5, number 2, and the Raptors pulled off the upset in Milwaukee last night for their 3rd straight win in the series, and Toronto is now 1 win away from its first ever trip to the finals. Kawhi finished with 35.7 rebounds and 9 assists and scored 15 in the 4th. He also got a huge boost from Fred VanVleet with 7 of his 9 threes for a shocking 21 points off the
Really?
bench.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Where did that
impressive.
come from?
It happened. Toronto now looks to close out the Bucks tomorrow night back in Drake's house. Are we calling it that now?
Yep.
All right, Shannon, how impressive was Kawhi last night?
Oh, Skip. Yeah.
Tell me, lay it on thick.
This was another Pavarotti at the
What?
Sydney
I
Opera House.
gotta write this down.
A virtuoso.
Hold on, Pavarotti at the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
Is that his finest performance?
Virtuoso.
Really? Okay, Pavarotti.
And what you're starting to see, Skip, there, these virtuosos are starting to happen with greater regularity.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not an accident.
Not an accident.
Now-
I'm writing all this down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you go back, to Game 4 against Philly,
Okay.
you saw it again in Game 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw it again in Game 3.
Yeah.
You saw it again in Game 5. Okay, you
Game
see what's
3.
reoccurring here.
See, Game 3 when Giannis fouled out.
How's that,
26 seconds into overtime.
how's
Go
that,
ahead.
how's that Kawhi's fault?
Okay.
Look, you know what, Skip? Every day I go home, Jenny, I go home every day. And after we talk about Kawhi and the Raptors, it's puzzling to me. I'm like, why does Skip so upset with Kawhi? Then it dawned on me last night as I'm watching him do what he did in the 4th quarter.
Really?
That's why. Because Skip is thinking, that could be my 35-9 for the Spurs.
That's right. You reminded
Silly me.
He quit on my team and played only 9 games in that final season. But go ahead.
When Toronto needed their star. Skip, obviously, when you go on the road, you need a role player or role players to step up. But you really need your star to lead the way.
Okay.
That's what Kawhi did.
Got to write that down.
Yeah, you write that
Lead
down.
The star.
Yeah, he led.
Lead the
Get all
way.
those
Lead
notes.
the way. I got
Lead.
lead the way.
And that's what he is.
Okay. Got it.
Kawhi, 15 points in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
Now, Skip Bayless, now, he loved 4th quarter.
Oh, do I? I love the 4th quarter.
Stop it.
It's all about the 4th quarter. Keep going.
So you love
Tell me
4th
when
quarter?
it's my turn.
It's not your turn
Thank
just yet.
you.
It's my turn.
You better try to ball hog. You better try to kill that clock because I'm about to leap.
Okay, go ahead.
You better give me enough time.
I'm going to give you plenty of time.
Yeah.
Kawhi had 15 4th quarter points. He scored
Yep.
10 in the first 4 minutes because at the start of the 4th, they're down 3.
They were.
And Kawhi says, you know what? Get on. Get on these cornrows. I had this thing freshly
Yep.
done before I
Just
came.
hang on to those cornrows and ride them.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
I got it.
And Fred VanVleet said, okay. So Kawhi had a career high as far as points generated. 62.
He did.
Never in his
In
short
his
career.
history, yep.
His brief career.
Well, it's the 8th year, but go ahead.
And then he had another.
Actually, it's the 7th year because we got to subtract one that he didn't play, right?
And then he had 24 in the 4th quarter, 15 points and assists, another 3 assists, all on 3-point field goals.
How does that happen? So wait, he had 9 assists,
Yeah.
and all 9 were made threes? You ever heard of that before? That doesn't happen very often.
I know a guy. That sounds like
Right.
another guy I know, but we're not talking about him.
Does that equate to help? That means every time you kick it out to somebody because you get trapped in the lane, you kick it out, and they make every pass out of the lane?
Yeah, they were 18 of 43 from the 3-point line. That's 40. That's basically 42%. You win a lot of games shooting 42% from the 3-point line.
HELP.
Yeah,
Help.
yeah. But anyway,
Right?
Skip Bayless, he created season.
Okay.
But I believe the very difference in the ball game. Kawhi played unbelievable. He was great. This was a great performance for him.
Wait, I got to write that down.
But
Great.
Yeah.
2 greats?
3
Okay.
greats.
3 greats.
Yeah.
I got 3 greats.
3 of them.
Great. Thank
the
you.
difference, Skip, was who?
Okay.
Fred VanVleet.
Guy, you've been critical of.
I've been Skip.
Yeah.
Before last night, the first 3 games, he was 2-11.
Yeah.
Last night, he was 7-9 from the 3. And every time that Milwaukee had an opportunity to take it to 12, maybe 13, he hit a 3, cut it to 7, hit another 3, cut it to 4, and then here we go. He would not let Milwaukee go run and hide. He kept Toronto attached to him, and then old Kawhi, and then old Show Enough did what he did. And what makes him so unbelievable, Skip, is that, you see, he makes it really, really tough on Giannis. And then when Giannis goes out of the ball game, he jumps on Chris Middleton. You see Chris Middleton's numbers last night? He had 6 points. He had 6 points. And you know why? Because old Baron Von Raschke.
Really?
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, that claw.
Wait, so he's guarding the whole team. He guards Middleton and Giannis. He probably guards who else?
No, you heard what I said.
Brogdon, maybe he guards them all 3 at one time. He's that good because he's great, great, great.
I said when Giannis leaves the game, he slides over to Middleton.
I see. Okay.
And then you saw what Middleton did last night. But this was a great performance. This was another virtuoso. That's 4 in the last week and a half.
Virtuoso. Tell me when it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Thank you very much. So now I'm going to reiterate back to you the stenographer that I am over here. So we got Pavarotti at the Sydney Opera House.
Virtuoso.
We got Virtuoso.
Yes.
We got leading the way in the 4th quarter toward a great, a 3 great performance.
Yes.
And we got Show Enough.
Yep.
And I'm about to show you Unshow Enough, okay? Here we go. I'm going to give you this. Number 2 was highly impressive until 8 minutes remained in the game. Do the last 8 minutes of the game count?
Yes.
Are they really the most crucial 8 minutes of the game would be the final 8 minutes, right? So you get 4 minutes of the 4th quarter, but then there are 8 more minutes. So can we look at the last 8 minutes? Because they were 8 long minutes. That's when he became extremely unimpressive in his Pavarotti at Sydney Opera House performance. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little known fact that I'm going to guess that you will not hear on any other show across this country, around the world today. Just a little known fact, and it actually is a fact. Number 2, over the final 8 minutes of the game, scored 0 baskets. Number 2, over the final 8 minutes of a back-and-forth game, went 0 for 4. 0 for his last 4. And I'm not making any of this up. I'm not nitpicking here. I'm boulder picking because 8 minutes is 8 minutes and 0 for 4 is 0 for 4. Okay. I didn't exaggerate that. I didn't fictionalize that. It actually happened. So let's go to his final miss, shall we? Of the last 4 that he missed, because it was fairly significant. And it came with 35 seconds left. A fall-away 14-footer that almost airballed, if we have that. It's the last miss. It almost airballs, but it does barely tick. It barely ticked. They had to go back to review it to make sure it ticked the front edge of the rim. There it is again, fall-away. Almost airballed. And it was such an awful shot that it fooled Brook Lopez, who had perfect position underneath the rim, and he mistimed his jump because he's thinking, is it going to miss or not? And he kind of goes up, and he butterfingers the basketball as it comes down, a rebound he should have owned. If he owns the rebound, they are going the other way quickly with the basketball. They're down only 2 points with 35 seconds left. So I don't know. Could we have a different story about to evolve? Maybe, maybe not. Instead, Gasol comes up with the ball, and Brook Lopez, out of desperation or frustration, just fouls him and sends him to the free throw line, right?
Yes.
And Gasol makes one of the 2 free throws. Now it's a 3-point game, and it goes the other way. And now we get the mistake of the night from the supporting cast that you called 2 days ago the best supporting cast in basketball. And Malcolm Brogdon, inserted into the starting lineup last night, commits the unpardonable act of dribbling the ball off his own leg out of bounds.
You did?
You just can't do it.
No.
You're at home. This is it. You can go ahead 3-2, and then you can go face the closeout game at Toronto. It would be in your advantage. But no, he dribbles it off his foot. So now it's timeout inbounds by Toronto. And now comes my favorite moment. There, the ball goes out of bounds. My favorite moment of the night happens now. The ball is inbounded to Pavarotti at Sydney Opera House. Do you see this?
Yes.
3 Raptors are chasing him to intentionally foul him.
Right.
What would, if he is that guy, if he is the alpha, if he is the best player in the playoffs, we're going to talk about that later, if he might even be making a case he's the best player on the planet.
He ain't.
If he is that guy, You know what that guy does? He just wraps up and covers the ball and says, please, I dare you to foul me and send me to the free throw line so I can ice this game. Is that what MJ would have done? Would Larry Bird have just wrapped up? Would Steph wrap up? Would Clay wrap up? Would Kyrie just wrap up and say, please come foul me, I dare you to foul me? Would they not all do that at that point?
Why take the unnecessary risk? Because we saw Kyle Lowry got ran through and they didn't call a foul.
But if he just wraps up and stands still and says, I give myself up, you don't think they're going to call that foul?
No, because
they have to. They have to.
Skip,
it's going to be an intentional foul. 3 guys are going to tackle.
But here's the thing. I don't need to foul you because I got you hemmed in.
If you're that guy, don't even give me this. You just wrap up and say, okay, thank you very much. I'm going to the free throw line, and I'm going to make it a 5-point game.
But the thing
Am I right?
Kawhi is smart enough. I don't need to be a hero in this situation.
Oh, stop
Just
it.
let me make the right play. That's what the really great ones do.
Here's what this really not great one just did. He had just missed his first free throw of the night, and he's got the demon going in the back of his mind.
No demon.
He wanted no part of the late game free throw line. You know it, and I know it.
He wanted all that smoke.
He wanted no part of it. So what does he do? Remember, this is the guy who is the most experienced big game player on that floor. Nobody has had the big game experience that guy has had.
Right.
Because he's played in 2 finals, and he was the MVP of the second finals, even though it was just a complete wipeout blowout of LeBron's Miami Heat by a record